All right, let's talk about one of the most frustrating things when you have a thyroid hormone imbalance, and it's weight loss resistance. It's so frustrating. Believe me, I know. Like, I lived this for 20 years. It is a frustrating situation to do all the right things and gain weight, or it's just really, really hard to lose weight. I get it. I've shared before about how I hit these cycles where my thyroid meds don't work, my body starts shutting down. It's like starting all over again, even though I'm doing all the right things. So I think that's, again, one of the biggest reasons people love working with me, listening to me, is because I can teach you guys things, but I also have the factor of living it, right? I know how frustrating it can be. And doctors and trainers and a lot of people out there can make it seem like, no, you can still lose weight. You just do this more, do hard, work out harder, be more, count your calories more. And the truth is, you can lose weight. It's slower and it's not as good as it could be. And a lot of you guys are losing weight while wrecking your hormones long term, while causing imbalances with your thyroid meds and thyroid hormones. If you have your thyroid long term, you are losing weight, you are maintaining it, but not in a healthy way. I think that's one of the frustrating things that can happen is you can go to an extreme when in reality you've got to get the foundations right that are going to really help your hormones and especially your thyroid hormones. And again, I know what that's like when I have to start over. Even though I'm doing all the right things, I can see a change when I do these things right. And I'm going to essentially walk you through 4 steps that I do to kind of reset and really great guidance for you if you have your thyroid, you're healing your thyroid, you have thyroid hormone imbalance, you're on thyroid meds or not, but especially for those of you guys post-thyroidectomy. And I'm going to say a little shout out to my post-thyroidectomy peeps. Guys, you've lost a vital organ. Like there's no adaptability there. Like you don't have this backup thyroid gland there, right? I say all of this because one of the biggest things I spend months like really pouring into my coaching clients and in my community, for those of you guys without a thyroid, is that like you don't have a thyroid. The first place you look when there's a resistance to healing or weight loss or how you feel and function and how you handle stress, the first place you look is your thyroid. Your doctor's not going to do that. I'm dealing with this frustrating situation right now where someone has this recurring gut issue but has been horribly hypothyroid, like even out of range, but even suboptimal within functional ranges. And, seeing a GI specialist and they're like, well, I don't think that has anything to do with it. And I'm like, what do you mean? This person doesn't have a thyroid. Like, it's going to affect every cell every cell. I was going to say every cell at a cellular level. You get the point. It affects every cell. It affects ATP energy production. It affects the mitochondria. Like, you cannot be optimal in any way. Can some healthy changes happen? Yes. You're going to work really, really hard for it. Really, really hard. But you've got to understand, like, and I think the longer you live without a thyroid, because this can happen to me as well, it's like you get into this kind of normal cruise control groove of things, and it's like you forget you've lost this vital organ, and family and friends, it's not a big deal to them, and it's not a really big deal to your doctor. So when you start kind of really struggling with stuff, you don't think that, like, I need to go look there, but you should, period. Like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Do more, do more, do more, do more. No, chill out. Get these hormone situations under control first and then see how differently your body responds. For those of you guys that have a thyroid, right now that are trying to heal your thyroid, I mean, this is a really big one, especially with Hashimoto's, like an autoimmune disorder. Like, you've got to give yourself grace as well because your body has an active autoimmune issue. You are actively inflamed. And there's a portion of you guys, and I know we got the hyperthyroid people that you're like, wait a minute, I'm losing weight too quickly. This is an urgent situation. You're not going to have, for the most part, an issue with weight loss resistance. So, and for those of you guys, if you're listening to this and you are hyper, I have some great resources, some great episodes coming out just for you guys because I see your comments. You're like, what about us with Graves? And we are going to give you guys that, support as well. But of course, this is going to be for those hypothyroid people, not enough thyroid hormones. You got to give yourself grace. Now, for those of you guys without a thyroid, you can see a lot of great changes compared to someone who's been on thyroid meds for a long time, or those without a thyroid. So let's go ahead and talk about these steps that I think are going to be really, really important. Okay. If you want to lose weight, get your thyroid hormones optimized, not just within range. Okay. So I touched on this a little bit. So for those of you guys with the thyroid, this can be a lot easier for you because you can utilize thyroid hormone support. Like if you don't have antibodies, you can utilize iodine and dosing it with selenium and glutathione. If you do have Hashimoto's, and it depending on how long the active autoimmune situation has been there, you can utilize thyroid glands. I have a whole course on this on my thyroid in my Thyroid Inner Circle community. We talk about this almost every single month because there's so many people that are utilizing thyroid glands in such a beautiful, supportive way. And it is about utilizing it according to how much you need. Thyroid gland supplementation, like utilizing good, clean, like cow thyroid, can be so beneficial and gives your body a break as your body is healing. So I want you to understand that optimizing that T4, T3 can be really, really important, like that important first step, right? You can do that. And I think thyroid gland supplementation or being strategic with iodine, selenium, and glutathione, or if you have Hashimoto's, thyroid gland, selenium, glutathione, can be really, really powerful. Of course, if you guys want guidance on how to do this, that's what my Thyroid Inner Circle community is for. There's a link in the notes section if you want to find out more information about it. Now, for those of you guys post-thyroidectomy, or those of you guys on thyroid meds, which is a lot of people, and I always say, if you have a thyroid gland, try to do everything you can to not be a pharmaceutical patient for the rest of your life. But a big issue I find is the T4 only medication approach. It's killing people slowly. It's giving you the worst health ever, especially if you need some T3 support. And so I guess the thing that frustrates me about this is I've been having a lot of conversations about this recently. And I can understand because, again, I've gone through this in the past. But especially for women and men, actually, because men, you guys have the testosterone issue, is this downplaying of the significance of optimal hormones, even little tweaks. Like, it's like, oh no, I'm within range. Like, could it really make that much of a difference? Yeah. Going from a 3 to a 3.2 can literally change your life. I had someone 2 weeks ago during a consult that went from a lower twos to an upper twos, which is not even close. And they're like, well, yeah, it was like, wow, I'm already starting to feel better. I'm like, yeah, but you don't stop there. You guys can downplay how little tweaks in your numbers can have a significant impact on how you feel, function, heal, and how you respond. And optimizing those thyroid hormones are really, really important. I am going to be doing a Thyroid Labs Masterclass in the new year. So I want to make sure that you guys join my newsletter so you can get the email about this Thyroid Labs Masterclass. I think it's about time. I've done a lot of this. We have courses on this. We have information on this in my Thyroid Inner Circle community. But it's time to do it for all of you guys out there. I get so many questions about this. It's so important to see the ebbs and flow and the changes and what each number means. TSH and T4 alone are useless for that metabolic clarity that you need when you want to shift your metabolism. Now, signs that you're not optimal, we're looking at afternoon crashes, hair shedding, constipation, feeling cold, you can't lose weight, feeling more depressed, more anxious. And this is the thing about the depression and anxiety. We're not talking about just panic attacks and, oh, you need antidepressants. It can be like staying up at night and ruminating over things that happen that you can't change, or feeling depressed can be just feeling this heaviness, like just you want to feel better, you want to feel happier, you have so much to be thankful for, but you find yourself more focusing on the negative. Like, there can be ranges of what this looks like. So all those signs are really important. Listen, T3 is what ignites your mitochondria. Without enough of that T3, the body protects itself by slowing that metabolism. Now, is there a way to kind of biohack like your nutrition to kind of see that metabolism shift? Yes, and we'll touch on that. But it's really important to understand optimal levels, and if you need support right now, using that support so you can heal. And for those of you guys post-thyroidectomy, gosh, you guys, you are really struggling going up this Mount Everest of trying to heal and balance yourself out with huge rocks in your backpack. If you're post-thyroidectomy, optimizing your thyroid hormones is in functional ranges. It's night and day, night or day, night or day, night and day. All right. So we're going to go into step 2, balance blood sugar with a protein forward morning and fat rich fuel. Okay. This is really big for me. And I touch on this because I went through this, and I find that a lot of people go through this, especially in this day and age with fasting and just ketosis and low carb. I did this because I specifically remember one time when I was weight loss resistant, the doctor was like, well, your labs look fine. And he kind of like looked at me like, do you understand calories? And like, do you understand about eating too much? Like, dude, I'm a grown behind adult. Like I am educated. Of course I know if I'm eating too much. Like, I am literally doing CrossFit and I'm so restrictive. And that was at a time where I was being like vegan and raw vegan. And it was so frustrating because he was essentially giving me consciously and subconsciously this idea that I just need to restrict more. And there's so many of you guys that are so restrictive that you're sabotaging these long-term efforts to see long-term hormone support and fat loss and being able to put on muscle and just overall optimal health. And so this is a problem that I think needs to be addressed head on, is that, and I get it. Listen, I have this conversation over and over again. What? You want me to stop fasting and you want me to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner and to eat more calories than I've eaten in years, and you want me to eat protein and fat, and yes, and yes, and yes. And guess what happens? Every time someone trusts me and does it, they lose weight and they feel good and they feel like they can handle stress more, and even their mental health feels better, and overall their energy feels better. But how am I losing weight? Exercising less and eating more. You need essential amino acids. You need essential fatty acids. And you guys have been so restrictive, and most of what you get is from carbs. And if it's not from carbs, then you're getting, some protein and fat. But a lot of you guys are hitting calories at 1,000 or less. This is destructive. Your body needs fuel, it needs nourishment, it needs building blocks. You need those essential fatty acids for cell membrane, all trillion of your cells, right? You need essential amino acids for DNA transcription, for red blood cells, for white blood cells, for neurotransmitter, for the gut, for your immune system. You guys are depleted and then frustrated because you're also not losing weight because your body is in this dysregulated conservation mode. And fat cells, it's really frustrating and it's really annoying. But fat cells is also a protective mechanism by our body. We have got to turn what's going on inside of our body with our nutrition. And this is a thing I always have my clients and my Thyroid Inner Circle community, when they have the opportunity to work one-on-one with me, like you have that chance in my Thyroid Inner Circle community, I have them do a food diary. And the crazy thing is that for a lot of people, historically, food diaries has been kind of like a thing of shame, of like, oh my gosh, look at what I'm eating. I'm doing so bad. I've got to, it's been a shame, but you can ask anyone that's worked with me in my community. Like, I use it as a look at what you're doing in regards to your nourishment, because a majority, I've only seen a small percentage where like, okay, maybe you're eating too much here, because most of the people that come to work with me have started to make those changes, which is why, being weight loss resistant and still feeling how you feel is really frustrating, because you're like, I'm doing all the work and the effort and it's not working. And I utilize tracking your calories and carbs and fat and protein as a slow down. Most of you guys, eating is frustrating. I get it. 3 kids, 2 different types of clinics. I get that slowing down and nourishing yourself can be a lot of work. But when you do a food diary, it is because you don't cook, a lot of times you don't even cook your food, but like you don't grow your food, you didn't hunt your food. There can be this disconnect between what's on our plate and what we're putting inside of our body. And it does matter what you're putting inside your body. I don't freaking care. I am not going to wait around. I've been around in this health world for 20 years. You don't have to tell me that I don't have to wait around for a study to tell me that seed oil, something that's so chemically processed, is bad for me to compare to something that is out in nature the way God created. I'm not, listen, if this is, guys, okay, I'm on a tangent here because I'm just my mind is just blown. I see this happen over and over again through the years. There's always this one thing where it's like, no, don't listen to that. You can do it. I'm not going to wait around for someone to tell me, like, it's literally common sense. Eating foods the way we're supposed to eat it is going to be more nourishing and healthy for your body than something that's so synthetically and chemically processed. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, I'm not eating seed oils. Okay. But I say all of that. That's just a tangent, and I can do a whole episode on that with Dr. Nathan. But the reason why I'm saying all of that is because there is a disconnect. There can be a disconnect of like, that thing you're putting in your mouth, the energy it holds, and how your innate takes that and utilizes it to make new cells and healthy tissue and new you. And just it's a powerful thing. And the idea that you're under eating nourishing foods because that's the only way you can maintain your weight, because your thyroid hormones are optimal, it's tragic. And I hate that. But that's why the first step is optimizing your hormones. If you need a break, then for those of you guys with thyroid, utilizing thyroid gland, but those of you guys without a thyroid, making sure your thyroid hormones are optimal. But going back to eating that way in regards to protein and fat, that fat for fuel and that protein to make sure that you are, balancing your blood sugar and utilizing that protein for building blocks. This is what I say: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you've been fasting, you heard intermittent fasting as well. I need you to track, because the intermittent fasting, the beauty is if you fast and then you refeed, and a lot of you guys aren't refeeding, eating enough protein to get you out of that fasted state. So you're in this low grade fasted state all day, and you're not getting the beauty of fasting and possibly autophagy because you're not refeeding to feed those stem cells and create mTOR and to rebuild. Okay. Post-thyroidectomy, especially post-thyroidectomy women, you can be more insulin sensitive because of T3. T3 regulates glucose disposal and your utilization of T3. This is the other thing. This is why I love going high fat and utilizing fat for fuel. So T4 to T3 conversion, it's insulin. Insulin is involved in that process as well, because when you have more T3 and you are eating tons and tons of carbs, you need a lot more T3, especially, and also if you have a lot of weight that you need to lose and inflammation, you're going to have a lot of T3. So it's really cool about going really fat focused for fuel. And this is the thing, I don't tell anyone to be restrictive. It's never about focusing on what you can't have. It's focusing on what you can have and eating the nutrients that you have not been eating, because you tend to be more restrictive anyways. And this goes for you guys that have been doing keto and low carb. Like, if you've been doing keto and low carb, really restrictive, you need to eat some good healthy carbs, cycle it in for a week, then get back. But for those of you guys that are not doing that, going more high protein, high fat, and looking at those numbers can be really cool. So anyways, going back to that T4 to T3 conversion, when you don't have as much carbs, you don't need as much T3. T4 to T3 conversion goes down, not because something is wrong, but because the need is not as high. So I've been able to see people essentially get a bit of a break from that poor T4 to T3 conversion and utilize fat for fuel, which is a much more efficient fuel source. Like, it is a beautiful, clean, burning fuel source that doesn't spike insulin. So that's a really good thing. Protein, lots of really great protein in the morning, lots of really great protein in the evening. And guys, I have so many resources in my Thyroid Inner Circle community about this. It can be really, really beautiful in regards to helping carb cravings later in the evening, but like getting you out of that fasted state, getting you into sharpness in your brain and sustained energy throughout the day. So starting the day with just coffee only or just fruit, or like a lot of you guys like oatmeal a lot. I've seen that a lot. Oatmeal, like, but just starting it with such a carb heavy, like glucose spike in the morning is just going to be the opposite of what your body wants, especially when it comes to hormones and in the state of wanting to heal post-thyroidectomy or heal having a thyroid dysfunction. So most of you guys do not need more restriction. You need more protein and fat. And yeah, no, most of you guys don't need more restriction. I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you. This is a conversation I have over and over and over again throughout the years, guys. I promise you, when your body feels like it's not in this make believe famine, like there's not enough nutrients out there, you will see a change in how your body responds. And then when you're well nourished and you're eating enough calories and you're eating enough protein and fat, then you add fasting, because then you're in abundance. Then you're in fasting. Then you're in abundance, because the beauty of fasting, the beauty of having a healthy metabolism is metabolic flexibility, your ability to adapt to different types of stressors or different types of eating patterns and going back to a sense of abundance, right? We can find benefits, you could short term, of so many different ways of eating, but the most optimal for everyone is a diversity that we lack in this modern day. So really, really important. Okay, next thing is support your mitochondria and detox pathways. Guys, when you've gone hypothyroid, your gut, your liver, your bile, your lymphatic system, we live in a modern world where we just don't move as much. We're at the computer, we're in our cars. You've got to support your mitochondria. You've got to support your detox pathways. How many times I've had women tell me, I don't sweat. The convenience of this modern world has eliminated us stressors that make us stronger. That's why, like, when my kids were in forest school, it was always like shocking, especially for my older, clients in my office, and like, wow, your kids are out there in like 10 degree weather. And I'm like, yes, resiliency, stress, adaptability, but also stress, a good stress. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, in this craze of cold plunging and all of that, y'all need to stop cold plunging. Y'all need to go sweat. Okay, like there's so many things you can do to help with your parasympathetic, but the fact is that a lot of you guys aren't sweating. That's a problem. That is detox and clearance. You have got to sweat. We have studies, and especially in this world with like microplastics and pesticides and herbicides and all of these, you got to sweat that junk out. And listen, yes, saunas, fantastic, beautiful sauna blankets, yes, fantastic, beautiful. But heck, just getting a hot bath, going into a steam. I mean, a lot of the studies that had come out about the benefits of like saunas, it was just like steam saunas, like in Scandinavian nations, right? Like you just got to sweat. Sweating is so important. Working out is sweating, really, really important. Doing sauna. You guys, the lymphatic situation is a really big deal. We wear, especially women, we wear bras, we're wearing tighter clothes, we are not moving and contracting our muscles. Our lymphatic system is our immune system. It's our immune system, our white blood cells, it's our clearance system, cleansing detox system, and we have fluid in there that goes to the lymph node. Lymph nodes, that's where our white blood cells can go and to go after and attack things. And especially for those of you guys post-thyroidectomy and autoimmune disorders, and you know what, I'm saying especially all of you guys need it, because even those that don't have an autoimmune disorder, a lot of you guys have gut issues or heavy metal toxicity that's contributing to your thyroid dysfunction, and you have like your neck is rich with lymph nodes and all of that. So the lymphatic system doesn't have its own pump. You have to pump it. Active functional movement all day, every day is really important, and it's not happening. So dry brushing, manual pumping your termini, really, really important stuff to getting rebounding. Guys, I sent out an email about this, and so many people told me they got a little trampoline 10 minutes where you're pushing down and just, it should be not like just like, oh, you're bouncing and having fun. Like you should actually work up a sweat where you're putting tension down into the trampoline and you're coming back up and you're contracting all your muscles over like multiple times. If you're working from home, get your little trampoline, get the blood flow going, blood flow. Oh my gosh, blood flow going, get those muscle contracting, really important. And then you can take it further. You can do castor packs. You can do HBOT, hyperbaric. But there's simple things of getting outside, getting sunshine, morning, midday, evening, going outside barefoot. Go outside barefoot. Take off your stinking shoes. As much as advanced as we can get as a civilization, we cannot escape the way God created us to connect with this earth. And I'm not saying that going outside barefoot is going to heal all your issues, but I will say you will not be well and you will not be optimal lacking sunshine and fresh air and going outside barefoot. You guys have got to support the foundations. The foundations first, and it doesn't really cost a lot. The foundations sets the body off better from day one, from the moment you wake up when you have these foundations. So, thyroidectomy also decreases cellular oxygen utilization, liver clearance of estrogen can slow down, estrogen dominance, that can increase fat storage for both men and women. Mitochondria can become sluggish without that T3, like we discussed already. So, if your mitochondria is stressed out, and the other thing too about the mitochondria, there's a lot in our environment. Like fasting is really good with helping with mitochondria, but like I told you, don't forget step 2 before you start fasting. But there's a lot in our environment that can really affect our mitochondria. The biggest thing I think you should focus on is decreasing your toxic exposure as much as you can. Plastic, switching out plastic for glass or stainless steel, especially with food storage, taking nonstick pans, switching it to stainless steel or cast iron, like filtering out your water. And when you know more, then you can implement more. But taking one step at a time at decreasing your toxicity exposure is going to be good. Now, the final thing I'm going to say is build muscle. Build muscle, even if you've never done this. This is my weak point. I'm going to be real with you guys. I'm real. I'm real. This has always been my weak part, but we can't ignore the fact that muscle, especially as men, this is really important for your hormones, testosterone, but especially for women as we age. And there's this idea of like, oh, I don't want to be bulky and all of this. Like muscle is an organ, affects growth hormone and DHEA, it affects everything. And what you want as you age, and especially with your thyroid hormones, is you want to be stronger. You don't just want to lose weight. You want to be stronger. The number one metabolic mistake with thyroid dysfunction and post-thyroidectomy is doing a bunch of cardio and not building muscle. That is a problem. The muscle is metabolic insurance. It raises resting energy expenditure 24/7. You need resistance training, and it's not a ton. And guys, you can start simply YouTube, look at resistance training workouts. You can do it starting off just 2 to 3 times a week. The women that I've had do 2 to 3 times a week and then walking, long walks. I've seen great results with burning fat and putting on muscle. I mean, we're talking about squats, deadlifts, lunges, push, pull. You want to be strong. And I want you to view muscle no longer as this like bulky thing, right? Like, oh, like muscle builders. I want you to view it as an organ that produces hormones, an organ that affects hormones, an organ that is vitally important as we age. One of the most powerful things that you can do. Muscle acts as a glucose sink as well. It lowers insulin. It unlocks fat loss, age, and menopause. And those of us without a thyroid all accelerate muscle loss. That's a really big thing. You don't have a weight loss problem. You have a muscle problem. And your ability to put on muscle and be strong is going to be vitally important. So I'm just touching base. We can go deeper on this. I'd love if you guys have loved my podcast, I would love for you guys to be part of my inner circle community. We go deeper on this and we troubleshoot all of this. But listen, as a recap, you can always comment, shoot us a message if you'd like some clarification. I can do a follow-up. part 2 to this. Listen, you get your thyroid hormone dosing right, or get your thyroid hormone support right. You got to balance that blood sugar, eat enough fat and protein. You got to support your mitochondria and detox, and build muscle intentionally. And I'm telling you guys, you'll see a incredible shift in your metabolism like you've never seen before. And great thing is, I'm walking alongside that with you. I'm doing all of this, implementing all of this essentially right now. Actually, right now, as I'm sharing this episode, it's like I'm starting over and I'm doing it along with you guys. So you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. We can do this together. Thanks for tuning in. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please leave a 5-star review. Let me know where you're listening from. Make sure to subscribe so that you can get alerted for future episodes.